That opening cracks me up every single time. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Do you feel like the camera is a little, I don't know, like I think it needs a wipe. Hang on. Let me do that. There we go. I think that's better. That's good. All right. Well, bienvenidos, mis amigos and amigas. It is great to have all of you here. What I've got behind me is the inspiration for today. I've got a live studio audience. I've got two people in our live studio audience. One is my mom sitting right over here. There she is. And one is Alfred. So it's great to have you all here. As you know, we're going to do a giveaway today. I'm going to show you this fantastic journal. My mom, she dropped it off and decided to hang out. So that's awesome. Today is going to be, it's you're getting a hello to the studio audience. A big shout out. Hey, studio audience.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. Woohoo. It's great to have everybody here. So it's going to be super casual. Today, I'm going to show you a couple of things that have kind of been stirring around in my creative soup. And I want to show you here the quilt that kind of started this whole thinking. If you've seen Susan's asking, do I sell tickets to the live studio audience? No, it's like, at the beginning when they first started filming Saturday Night Live, right? And they couldn't get an audience and they would ask people to come in. Yeah, off the street. So I'm ready to grab people off the street. But anyway, maybe someday, maybe we will. Anyway, that's funny. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk a little bit about the stuff that is in the studio drop for today, which is kind of Frida themed. I've made some really cool Frida stitch in patch kits that I'm going to show you how to use. And hopefully that'll be the first of many little stitch kind of kits and stuff that are going to be kind of fun. So my friends, do remember here, let me find the right one. Remember, a lot of you are commenting already, but we're going to do this towards the end of the broadcast. Okay. So you do need to be present to win. So if you're commenting Frida, hashtag Frida, you got to hang in towards the end of the broadcast and we'll do a drawing for it. But my mom has also said that she's going to create some for us to sell here on Bead Shop. So if you like them, stay tuned to our newsletter because they are pretty impressive. I'm going to show you. These are also a sample of the journals that I'm going to be giving my students who join with me on my Stitch In for France, which is coming up later this year, this summer. You can find all of that information. We have just a couple spots left. So if you want to come to France, do some slow stitching with me. Not unlike kind of what we're doing today, except we're going to make garments, and stuff like that. But all the info is over on Soul Stir Magic. Why can't I say that? Janice and I are also going to be talking about our bead shop retreat that's coming up in August. That'll be coming up soon. So if you don't want to get on a plane and fly all the way over to France, you just have to get on a plane and fly to the Bay Area and join us in San Juan Bautista in August. So all of those fun things are happening. Bead Shop Studio drop today at 9. There's some fun things. I'll show you those. We'll look at those things first. And then I'm going to show you how to make my little Dia de los Muertos kind of pieces here. We've got the little roses, the aluminum roses up, all kinds of stuff. And then we're going to stitch at the end. So let's see. Oh my gosh, so many people are here. And Oh, Sarah, thank you so much. She's been hanging out with me all morning watching old episodes. Have you seen how my hair has changed? It feels like my hair is getting grayer by the day. But yes, exactly. Carol, I need Don Pardo to say live from Fresno. It's Bead Shop Live. You know, where is he? All of the studio collection is up on Bead Shop. Let's go ahead and take a little gander. Let me add my camera here. So bear with me here just a second. Oh, good. And you all are commenting. The entries are coming in fast and furious, which I love. So thank you so much. Let me do this. Let me come here. Let me share my screen. And then we will take a look. Okay, so let me do this. Share my screen, share the screen, and here we go. Okay, so let me make sure you can see it. Yes, you can. Okay, perfect. Oh, Tamara, thank you. You're here on your first live. That's great. Welcome, welcome. You know, I like to do these Saturday stitch-ins. They've become kind of like almost a touchstone. It's kind of fun to hang out, and I don't know. It makes me feel really good. So I hope that you folks are having fun with it, with them as well. So let's take a look at the website here for a second. Okay, let me just show you where to find everything, especially if you're new or you haven't shopped with us for a while. So here we are on beadshop.com, and I'm going to scroll down just so you know we do have a coupon code. Not valid on beadshopStudio items. I'm sorry, but everything else in the shop, yes. We've got a special offer going on right now. If you didn't catch Janice and I, was it only yesterday? Gosh, on our special free tip Friday, talking about wrap bracelets, etc., our color study. Watch that broadcast. It's linked a little lower here on the website, but you can save an extra 10% on Checkmates tiles and bars. Those are vital for doing color study. And then right here, if we keep scrolling down for Frida Fiesta, we've got some special items, and I'll click over into beadshopStudio so you can see those. You can see here's a couple of links to the upcoming and recent live broadcasts, some of our recent things there. And here is a link right into beadshopStudio. So if you can see there's a little bit of a caveat or a little bit of notes up there. They ship from our studio to your studio. They kind of are comprised of treasures I find, treasures I love, maybe treasures I make. And we start with the beadshopStudio Slow Stitch Pattern Inspiration Kit. I'm going to show you that. Then I've got those roses. We've got the stone skull beads. They're black howlite and white howlite. The black skulls, you'll see they're a little smaller than the white ones. And so you can stock up. We've got a bunch of them. They're very inexpensive, so you can get several. I'm going to show you this Sahara Sands, this ADOT age check that I've kind of had burning a hole in my back pocket. And I thought it would be great for a necklace. I did a couple of mixes, a striped Java mix and a Java and African bead mix there. They're in tubes, the hand-wound glass beads, and then these fused rondelle recycled glass beads that you're going to love. Those are sold out already. I had a few. Remember those mixed crystal strands I had? It was like 3 years ago or something. I found 4 of them. When we got all of our product back here at Bead Shop, we got a few little extras, extra things, which were fun. So I found those in an extra box. Then there's some more, a few bits and bobs that are left over from past studio drops that you can see there. So that's what's going on there. Okay, so that's that. Let me add this to the stage. Let me get that out of the way. Let me show you all of that. And let's take a look. I need to move the camera, but there's Frida peeking out at you. And let's take a look at the journal that my mom made. So as you may or may not know, My mom is a very gifted, I don't know, you'd call yourself an artiste, wouldn't you, Ma? Well, I know you were a scientist. I know, I know. My mom was a scientist. That is true. In her, a plant scientist, uh, plant physiologist, or I don't know what you're fancy.
Seed physiologist.
Seed physiologist. I know, right? That's why I can't do math. Anyway, but she's also had a very artistic bent all of these years, right? And so, yeah, I'll put my mom on camera and I'll move the camera over in a sec. But she made this piece. She's been making journals. She makes them for everybody who comes to our bead retreats. She has been you make cards. You make a lot of things with paper, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. It's really, I think, I don't know, it's just kind of fun to work with paper. It's kind of how we feel about fabric.
Yes, but the thing about paper is, well, it is like fabric because you get to mix so many things together.
Right.
I just like beading, you know.
Right.
You put different things that go together, and yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's such a great piece. And one of the things, and I'll talk a little bit about the quilt and stuff. Oh, Stem Hilly says she's a cell biologist as well. Look at that. So many. I know people are saying once a scientist, always a scientist. It's great. I thought about science very, very briefly. I thought about being a marine biologist because I love sea life and I love all of that. But I didn't. I went into the arts. Whoops. And look where it's gotten me. Look at that. Quasi small internet famous. Anyway, so here it is. Here's the journal my mom made. And as I said, these are going to be very, very similar to the ones that my mom makes for the retreat for France. So she found this great piece of Frida on the front, and that looks just like Florence. Our Florence. Doesn't it look just like Florence? It does. So Ma, you made this from soup to nuts, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So all of this started with chipboard. I mean, this wasn't a book that you embellished, right? So, so let's open it up. So it has some, it's great that it has like these holders for pens. It has a little place for Post-its. I love this quote. Really great. Look at all of the inside, everything that's on the inside. Now, Ma, you made these like little folios, right? They're kind of like little...
They're notebooks and they remove.
Right.
So if you go to the middle of it.
So here we go. And this is held in by a piece of elastic like this. So you can take them out, journal in them, put them back in. When they're full, you can use new ones, which are great. And so this is a lined one, and you embellish the inside, you embellish the back, and see how there's a little pocket here that you can put things in. It seems like a lot of people are paper crafters. Isn't that great? My mom made me one that I keep stuff in. She made me one, I think it might have been Christmas before last. She made us one of like a photo journal for Halloween. It was pretty cool. So here's this. Then you go, there's some more folios here. There's a blank one that you can draw into. This is a really nice embellished. This is a great color palette. It almost is the same as the color palette of the beads that I put in the stitch in. Right? Look at how well that matches in the Frida kits, right? So, and so another little pocket here on the back, and here is another little place here, and some more pockets and stuff here. So really gorgeous, Ma. I love it. And it has these little places where you can come in and mark your spot and stuff. So comment, we're going to give this away, and I'm going to mail it out to you, courtesy of my dear mama. She made this with her own little hands. So it's gorgeous. I know it is a creative mother and daughter team. We should really take this show on the road, though sometimes the late show's a little blue. Okay. So really great. And there's so many people who also work with paper. That's really great. I love it. I love it. And Paula, make sure it's hashtag Frida without the E. Frida, Frida. And Mary, it's true. Scientific talent and art are not actually mutually exclusive because you do, at least I feel like I have a pretty analytical mind when it comes to making art and stuff, right? You have to do that. So it's so nice. Love it. Love it. Love it. So I'm going to put this precious thing aside and we'll get back to it later and we'll draw for it. But let's take a look. Let's start with, can you see the remnants of yesterday's live here on my spot? Let's get a little closer here and let me get a little tighter in here. And let me show you these. I've been wanting to do these. I was going to do these for Dia de los Muertos, and I just didn't have the time to get the kids together. And I thought, well, why wait for Day of the Dead or, the fall or October to make something like these, the kind of the skull imagery. I think a lot of people like it. I think a lot of people, it really resonates with people. I'm going to grab a couple more of these white howlite skulls here. So I just thought it would be fun. It'd be fun homage to La Maestra Frida. It's just fun. And then you'll have some earrings to wear also around Day of the Dead if you celebrate, if you do anything like that. If you don't, I urge you to look up the tradition of Dia de los Muertos. A lot of different cultures have kind of a Day of the Dead tradition. We did in our Italian household, Gran always on All Souls Day. You remember how she used to put like a candle in the window and,
Yep.
always have, always light candles and stuff.
Stories about when she was a girl.
Yeah, yeah. Tell stories about when she was a girl and how our crazy Grandma Lily would.
I mean, I hate to say this, but I make ofrendas for my animals.
Yeah, for your animals, of course. Of course. Making an ofrenda for your dearly departed, including your animals, I think is a cool thing, right? But it's really, it's certainly celebrated by our beautiful neighbors to the south in Mexico, in Oaxaca, in many places. And growing up, so my granddad, you may not, I'm going to put myself up here too, so it's not just my hands. Let me do this while I get everything ready. Sorry, I'm trying to get myself here. So my granddad, he was a farmer in the Santa Clara Valley, right? He was a prune farmer. That's what all old Italian men do, right? Of a certain age, they were farmers, right? And you usually farmed prunes. So my granddad, not only was he a farmer, but he also taught math. Still didn't get the math gene, and Spanish. And I think he was a Spanish major, wasn't he? At San Jose State, one of his many.
He went to medical school after, so he might.
He did, yeah.
There's a lot of chemistry stuff.
Yeah.
Too. So I don't know.
It's hard to say. My granddad, he was an interesting man for sure. And so
he did speak Spanish like a native.
Like a native. And so we were always really so he had a lot of books that were in Spanish, and he had a lot of books for kids that were in Spanish. And I remember as a little kid, because, we lived out in the country and we didn't, we had 3 TV stations and they were all snowy. I read a lot. And I would look at the books in Spanish, and, a lot of them were kids' books, kids' grammar books. So I'd look at them and I'd read them. And I remember there was like a really skinny, it was like an old art book. It was an old something, but it had some Diego Rivera. It didn't even have Frida Kahlo in it, of course, because she wasn't as well known in the, 50s, 60s, 70s. But it started to catch my eye, and way back, I think even starting in high school in the 80s, when she started to become more well known for her surrealist imagery, I loved her, and I loved her art. I loved her images. So that's kind of where that came from. My granddad, his love of all things Mexico, and the way that, he would bring people home. You never knew who was coming home.
Well, I mean, he was very, very close to his workers.
His farm workers, and it was great. It was great.
I've got a great story. Can I tell a story?
Yeah, you can, while I get this set up.
Okay, so my dad was the manager of a farm for Mayfair Packing Company in Northern California.
In San Jose, yeah. But this is when you lived way up in Colusa County.
Princeton, yes. Yeah. And there was a labor camp that they were like single Mexican men, or men without their families, who worked for him year round. And there was about 8 men. And there was a cook. And the cook quit for some reason. I don't know what it was, because I was only like 4 years old at the time. But my mom said to my dad, if I do the cooking, can I keep the bunny? And my dad said yes. So my mom got together with the Mexican ladies, whatever, and learned how to cook Mexican food.
Yes.
I mean, she was really good at it. And I would sit at this table in my high chair with all these Mexican men, and they just loved me. And I was, but anyway, so my mom kept the money, and she bought a washing machine, a fur coat, and a diamond wristwatch.
That's right. That's right. It is so, and Gran, to the day that we would make tamales every holiday season. Our lives were so enriched. But it is true. Gran bought that fur coat. My grandpa, he was so funny. So funny.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was good times. Those were fun times. All so creative. Love it. So, my friends, I'm getting out for these pieces here. I'm going to get out some beads to use. And you saw I cut this up, right? So, I mean, because we can always put it back together. And I want to show you one of the things. So I made a necklace, and in the move, I have not seen it actually since we moved from our Redwood City offices. So I know it's here somewhere. I made a stab at looking for it, but I made a whole necklace with these skulls, and I stitched like these little crowns for them. And so I wanted to recreate that. So that's what I was thinking about this. So I want to show you, these they're kind of like little snowflakey kind of things or whatever, right? Or little crowns or things like that. So with the skulls, and you can see the 2 different sizes. This size here, the black one, it's a little smaller than the white one, but it'll work for both. I'm going to use the white here. When we stitch this, and it's super fast and super easy, but see how that looks like a little Katrina hat, right? The queen of the Dia de los Muertos. And if you these are our etched daisy bead caps. If you put the bead caps on upside down, they look good, right? They look like a little crown. And then I just added I just did these little roses. I'm going to look for that necklace. I looked in the box that was marked Kate Personal Jewelry, and I thought it was in there, but no. Oh, Tina, I remember you saying this. Yes. How Tina was raised in Mexico as a young child, and she has fond memories of Casa Azul. I have been to Casa Azul. I've been there twice. I love traveling to Mexico. Mexico City is vibrant and amazing and so interesting. and so varied. I had, and going to Coyoacan and seeing the Casa Azul, especially now. I went quite a few years ago before it was more of a museum. But the second time I went, they have a lot of her clothes and all of that stuff that they kind of made it into more of a museum and less of just a house. So I urge you. It was just so interesting and a great, great experience. So see how this goes together, right? And I'll take it apart so you can see. I put one of those little flowers inside. That's the little the little bead cap. You could use any kind. We've got a bunch of different bead caps that you can use. I just thought I like this because it looked kind of spiky, like a little corona, like a little crown. Here are all the wire wrapped. I'm going to show you how I do that. These little wire wrapped roses. The aluminum roses are kind of cute. They're small. They've got a hole in the back. They're kind of soft, but they hold up well, right? So here's this. Here's this. What do I want to say? This little crown piece or whatever that I made, and I used the drops here. But you could stitch a whole bunch of these, you know, and string them however you want. So it's good times. It's fun. And so then here we go, just on the head pin. So, all right, so let's go ahead and pull this together. Let's start by making this piece. Sorry, it's a little, I can't keep the focus on this. So what I used here, what you'll need is you'll need some 11-aught beads, which are these and these. And I'm literally just using what's on my bead table. This is what I've been using a lot lately because it's been sitting here. It's the 11-4273. This one here is the 2028 in an 11-aught. This is the 8-aught. This is that moss in 501. I made this little special. Maybe I'll dump a few of these out. This is the little mix that comes in the Frida stitch kit. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you watching. It's almost 200 of you. Thank you. Oh, everybody, thank you so much. Sometimes I feel, I don't know, do you feel like, you know, when you're going to throw a party and you're like, is anyone ever going to come? Well, that's sometimes how I feel. So thank you. Really heartfelt for you folks being here. These were some seed beads that I had been hanging on to, and I'll tell you what's in the mix. I saved the wrappers. This has a Duracoat opaque dyed cream. I don't know where the rest of the wrappers went. They were here a second ago. I think it has some of these 2028 in it. It has the metallic raspberry, and it has, here they are. I'll put them aside. It has the 4248, the Duracoat.
We can't see your hand.
Oh, sorry. It's the Duracoat. It's that Duracoat purple or Duracoat kind of eggplant. But it's the metallic dark raspberry iris, which is the 2005. And then, yeah, it's the 2028 is also in this one. So this is a stitching kit exclusive. You get one of these, but I'm going to dump a little bit for there. So, oh, and thank you, Annie. Those are kind words. Thank you. Annie says, I love Frida. My mother and her family are from Mexico City. Thank you for honoring part of this culture with this design. Thank you so much. You know, I feel like, I don't know. I think it's fun to do a deep dive into just all the cultures around the world. You know, we're one big wide world, and it's interesting to find new things for sure. So here's the smaller skull, the howlite. I mean, you could just do something super simple and put a little flower here on the top, a little flower there on the bottom, whatever. So however you want to use them. But let me go over these again. These are 11-aughts, and in the mix, that's correct. Where did I put the mix? I put it down. Where did it go? Well, at least I have some here. Here it is. These are all 11. So there are 4 different types of 11-aughts in these. These are 11/aughts, the 11-4273. This is also what's in the mix here, the 2028. Then you need an 8/aught. And I'll put the recipe, we'll put it in the description also after the broadcast as well. And we'll get this up on the website as a project as well. But you don't need much for this, right? And then you need some drops. This is the DP3. I also got this DP38, this color lined. Oh, speaking of color lined, I need to check and see. Hold that thought, everybody, because if they're not there, I need to add them. You know what I didn't add? And I'll add them. You know what? I'm going to add just a quick, I'll add the listing. Hold the phone. I knew there was something I forgot. What a surprise. I have these guys. These are 6/aughts. These were some beads, and you know what? I'm just going to make a quick listing on the back end so you can buy them, okay? And then I'll add a photo and stuff in a second. This is, and Janice, we don't have the little mix. The little mix comes in your Frida stitching kit, which I have here. So that's the only way to get it, okay? But we do have, this is the Frida Fiesta special that I made these. I didn't get them in the beadshopStudio, but I'm going to make a listing. So bear with me here. This is a crystal sapphire blue lined, and I have a bin of beads that I kind of have on a little shelf where I kind of squirrel things away. And these were one of the things in that bin. These, we were going to use them for a mix. I might have maybe wanted to use them for maybe my birthday mix. I'm going to zoom in on this real quick, and I'm going to make that listing real quick. It's going to be really super rough, okay? But I'll go back after the show and fix it. But if you want it, let me do it. So this is a 6/aught. They're really hard to find. It's the crystal sapphire blue lined. And Janice found these, and we never used them because we couldn't get them. Hang on, let me do this. So I found all the bags, and I'm like, I'm going to sell them today because this is like azul, right? Like the Casa Azul. So just bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves.
No, they are a gorgeous color.
They are, right? My mom's all, give me them beads. Let me just do this. It will only take me a brief moment. The picture will be broken. There will be no picture in it, but I will do that in just a second. You know, why not? Let's do a broadcast, add a product, you know, but that's why it's Saturday. You know, I'm not worrying too much about it. You're like, please just get to the project, Richburg, but I will. Let me see.
We could call this bead brunch.
Do you remember when I used to have bead brunch, Gwenda?
At your store, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Remember?
About that.
Yeah.
I do remember.
It was so fun. You know what I'm going to do, Ma? I'm going to have you, I need you to count these. Hold, please. Gotta have my mom count these.
I'm retired.
Yeah, well, it's too bad.
Okay.
Count them in your scientist way, please. Can you tell me how many of those there are in that tray? And I'll put them up.
Okay.
I knew there was something I was missing.
Ooh.
I know, right? My mom has all. Let's see. I'm going to call them just so you can find it. beadshopStudio.
I love the design.
Frida. I know. They're 6/aughts. I love them. Frida Fiesta 6/aught crystal sapphire, blue lined. I'm going to put in the description.
56 in here.
Thank you. If you know, you know. And I'm going to put it up right here. Hang on. I'm going to take that picture out because that's not right. These are, there we go. And how many did you say, Ma?
56.
Okay, so I'm putting in 54. Save. And I think it's up. All right, bam. Let me see if, oh, here we go. I did have a photo. I just didn't put it up.
Okay, enough of this. Go back to what you're doing.
Come on, Ma. I'm working. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, it's up. Will someone check and make sure it's up? I think it is. Let me see. I want to stop sharing that. It's active. It's in the studio. And it should be good to go. Let me just double check. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. And then I'll answer all of your questions. Yeah, it's there. You have to scoot way down. It's after the beadshopStudio striped Padre beads, but at least it's up there. You'll see it. Okay. Back to this. Yeah, I put it on the cupcake glass. That's why I just changed it. But I'll fix it. It's right down there. So thank you. Yes, it's up. Okay. Phew, perfect. Buy them all, please, so I don't have to fix it. Okay, so let me go and answer these questions. Here we go. So this demo, these products, Susan, are not. Let me show you real quick what's in the kit, just so you can see the difference. In the kit for stitching.
Hey, is the price for those correct?
Let me see.
$225?
Yeah. For tube?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
$225?
Correct. It's a short tube.
Well, I almost want to buy them.
I know. Yeah, it's a good one. I know. So in the stitching kit, the earrings are not a part of it. The stitching kit has a bunch of stuff to stitch this really fun Frida patch that we're going to work on. And it has the backing. It has all of these pieces, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about it when we talk about the quilt, etc. But look, there's all kinds of really cool things. All of these. Tina Vianney will recognize what I'm sharing out in the world. These beautiful little flowers from France. Some of these are trims and things that I got when I was in France. More vintage buttons, etc. like this. So the stitching kit is separate. All of these things, the flowers, all of that stuff is separate, and you'll see that. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Now, back to this. I'm like, how could I forget these beautiful beads? I'm so disappointed in myself, but that's all right. Okay, and the kit is on the website, the stitching kit. So if you go right onto the homepage, Paulette, and you click on beadshop.com, you'll see it right there, right? And you can just add it to cart. And I'll talk about the kits in a little bit after we do this, but let's get to this. So, pardon me. these beads go in that kit as well. So we're going to start by making these little crowns. Okay. And I'm going to get my size 10 needle, and whatever you want to stitch your skinny, your small beads with, right? So I'm going to get my size 10 sharps. Thank you for sticking around through that ridiculous thing of me adding product in the middle of a show. But what are you going to do? Right? There we go. And, oh, thanks, JP. Janice moved the blue beads up to the top. Thanks, Janice, for doing that.
So there is no kit for that little skull?
No kit for the skull.
Okay. I think you need to make that really clear.
Super clear. These are just by the piece, and you'll see it. The kit is the stitching kit, and we'll look at the stitching kit in a bit.
But the roses are beautiful and such a buy. I can't believe it.
I know. So you can buy some of these. So I wanted to make these all kind of separate, so you could buy like as many of the skulls that you wanted and as many of the other things as you wanted. So, Saturday, it's casual Saturday, right? So hopefully it all works out. I think it will. All right. So what we did here to start, let me get a little tighter in here so you can see this. This little crown, this little corona is really simple to stitch up. I want a better background. Let me put it on this. There we go. Okay. So I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beads to start, because you can see this has 6 points like this, right? So I'm going to put on 6 of one color. It happens to be this willow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now I'm going to come through and I'm going to make a little circle.
You're going to have to zoom in a little bit on that.
See, everyone's a director. I will. Hang on. Let me get this out of the way.
I'm your mother. I can be as bossy as
I know, right? It's true. Here's the circle.
She'll never let me back.
I'm never going to let her back in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch forward just a little bit to close up that circle. Okay. Just like that. So now we're going to do another row. And in between each of these little 11s, yeah, everyone seems to be on your side, Gwenda. I don't know how that happened. Now I'm going to put in this second color. Okay. And we're going to just stitch in 1 11-aught between each of these 11-aughts. Okay. So you're not skipping a bead or anything like that with peyote stitch. You're just kind of stitching. It's going to be a little loosey-goosey, but let it be, because it needs a little bit of room. So see, now I've got that bead kind of sticking out there, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Now I'm going to pick up another one and I'm going to stitch through the next one. And I'm going to keep going. I don't know why I cut so long a piece of thread here. Are you guys like that when you're like, oh, I'm just going to cut a length of thread, and it ends up being like a yard? So see how these are all just kind of sticking out there. Turn it, stitch in. And then once you get this row done, you can kind of neaten it up. Okay. There we go. And we're, whoops, no, this one. There we go. And then one more. So you should have 6 on the inside ring, 6 on the outside ring, or 6 on the inside, 6 on the outside. And now I'm going to do a little step up and go through that. Okay. Thanks. I'm wearing all my rings like as my homage to Frida. I'll talk about my rings a little bit later, but one of them I made. So see here, now what we've got that little, let me try and zoom out and back in so it's a little focused. Okay. So can you see how that looks like that inside ring there? Okay. So now I thought, since I had this, I thought, you know what? There's room for an A-dot in there, right? So what I did was I got an A-dot and I stitched in an 8. Let me make sure I remember what I'm doing here. Yeah, I think this is how I did it. I stitched in that 8. All the way around. Okay, so there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. I need some more 8s. I'm using Fireline here, but you use whatever you want. And then after I stitched in this row, I'll set it down so you can see it, so you can see what I'm talking about. After I stitched in this row, and I'm going to go through that bead and now that bead. After I stitched in that row, I was like, you know what? I've got a lot of room here. Okay, right? I've got like some space. What would fit? I don't know why that's turned. Let me pull this. I'm going to really pull this thread to tighten everything up. Bear with me here just a second. There we go. That's better. A little bit, tension's a little bit better. So what I did next was I just looked at, I thought, you know what? I need something that kind of feels like a little crown. I mean, this could be a drop. It could be a Miyuki spacer. It could be a 6/0, right? It could be one of these 6s, right? The sapphire 6s. It could be whatever you want it to be, but I used a drop. So, and I used the same color as this row right here. So see all this space? I just picked up an 11/0, a drop, and an 11/0, and I went through the 8/0 bead. Okay. And see how that just closes up that spot, right? So I kept going. Another 11, another drop, another 11. Go through. You could also even make this super colorful. You could put all different colored drops. You could put beads that have super high contrast. You know, just go get yourself a variety of 11/0s, some drops, some 8/0s, or use what's left over on your bead table from a project. That's what I did here. So see how nicely that's stitching in?
And is this the last row?
This is the last row, exactly. So this is it. So how many rows was that? 3, 4? This is the 4th row, right?
Right, it's the 3rd row, isn't it?
I did this one in the center. That's 1. That's 2. The 8/0s was 3. So this is 4.
4th row.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel. But it doesn't feel like, you know, it goes really fast.
It's only 6 beads.
Oh, pardon me. Yeah, it's only 6 beads. Let's see. The A-dot is the 501, Janice. It's the moss 501. But again, use any color. These literally, I didn't think long and hard over this colorway. I literally used what was on my bead table. So do it in your favorite color. And get a bunch of these. So I'm going to show you what I want to do with this next. So here's this. And you can stitch up a bunch of these. In my necklace, in my missing necklace, I may have a picture of it somewhere, like on my long ignored blog or something like that. But now I'm going to come in, I'm going to close this off. So see, I'm going to stitch the inside where this thread is coming out, right? So just stitch to it. You can't make a mistake. Just stitch it to there so that now these two threads are hanging out next to each other. Maybe I'll stitch it. No, I'll just tie a knot. So I'm going to do this. Let me focus. There we go. And yeah, this is the 6-pound fire line. Maybe you could use 4-pound. You could use KO. Heck, you could use sewing thread if you want. I don't know. I know, blasphemy. But, this isn't going to have a lot of, it's just a little square knot right there. It's not going to have a lot of stress on it. I'm going to add a little, it's called avocado. Sorry, JP. It was in the January mix for Aunt Constance. That's right. Thanks, Janice. I keep calling it moss, but let me add a little bit of glue right there on that knot. See if I can get this lid back in. There we go. Come on. Nope. Oh, for crying out loud. Hang on, everybody. My mom's ready to march over here and put this lid on. There we go. I got it. I know, Janet's all sewing thread. Maybe not sewing thread, JP. I don't know. KO is the right thing. And I think, my love affair with Fireline continues for sure. Let me get my thread burner. And I'm going to come in. Our thread burners, we've been out of thread burners for a while. They've been on back order from the manufacturer. So hang tight. Put your name on the list for restocks. We should get them restocked sometime in this first quarter of 2025. Let's go here. I'm going to come in. And I'm going to thread burn. Okay. So now I've got 2 of these little pieces. Okay. Let's see how this looks on this skull. Because you can make this, I think it looks great even on the smaller one. It's very, it's very traditional, the Katrina figure, with her big hat, right? So, and yeah, you can use an eye pin instead and attach something at the bottom, whatever. So let me wire wrap. I'm going to wire wrap a few of these little roses. Now, the roses are really sweet. You get a bag of like 50, okay? And what I do with them is I put a head pin through, and the rose itself, these kind of interior little petals, you can kind of push them aside with your head pin. And the head pin can kind of nestle down in there, or sometimes it hangs out at the top. But if you want it to nestle down in, you just move the the petals aside just a little bit with your nail and get that in there. Sorry, I'm going to use this all because I can't quite get my nail in there.
So Janice wanted to know if
There we
you
go.
use glaze. What is this?
Oh, the diamond glaze to stiffen these, JP? You could, but you don't. You don't have to. I mean, I wouldn't. So remember, this is the piece, if you'll remember in your memory, this was the piece we diamond glazed, right? And so it's stiffened. I don't think I want these to be stiff. I mean, you could if you wanted.
Wrapping around the
but yeah, I like them to have a little bit of movement too. You could certainly use head pins that had a ball head pin so that the ball kind of shows. You could also put a little bead or something here on the end like this, right? But I'm just going to put these head pins through. And how many did I make? I made 2, 4. I made 6 for this one. Okay, so let me get a couple more. Kind of open that up. I'm using my awl to do that. Stick that head pin in. And now I'm just going to wire wrap these. Okay, so I'm going to come in. We're going to bend. You don't have to wire wrap, but I want them to be really sturdy and secure. Pardon my reach. So that's why I'm wire wrapping. The wire wrapping is not going to show. So to be honest, you don't need to be super, let me zoom out a little bit. You don't need to be super neat with your wrapping. Oops, sorry. You go out just a little bit so I have room to wire wrap. And you're just going to bring around. This is going to give me about 3 wraps. And these are going to be kind of intentionally messy. Now these are our bigger head pins. These are our 2-inch. I would need to check, but the 1.5-inch, the thinner gauge ones, those will probably work. I'll grab one and I'll check it in a minute. I like this heavier wire, to be honest. And you can also, if the head of the head pin is a little small, you can put a little 11-aught bead in there to act as a bead stopper. Okay. Now, if you have trouble, my hands don't want to make this wrap today. So use your tools, right? Sorry, I know this is a little out of focus because the camera is focusing on the background. But let me get this, come in, kind of intentionally messy. I'm not really worried about the look of the wire wraps, to be honest. The holes, the loops that I made are kind of big, right? I want them to kind of have a little bit of moving around. Don't let the wire wrapping kind of intimidate you. I'm going to wire wrap one more here. So I grab it right here. We've got a lot of skill builders on our wire wraps. So see here, I've grabbed it with the tip of my plier. I'm going to bend that wire over the top of the plier at the right angle. I'm going to come in with my round nose plier, bring my wire up and over that round nose plier so it's nice and tight around the head of the tool. Drop it to the bottom. Come in, pull that wire around. Now I've got that little neck to wire wrap around. Okay. So we're going to come in and I'm going to wrap it. See how I did that one with my fingers? Kind of smush it in with your chain nose. And be very mindful when you're cutting that wire that you don't cut it and, as Karen would say, honey, you're going to poke your eye out with that. Okay. So now, once you've got your little roses wire wrapped, I'm going to use some from the other one. What I do is I just line them up on the head pin. I put the little crown on. I line them up on the head pin. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6, right? You can make that crown as big as you want it to be. Then what I used was this is the daisy bead cap, though we have other ones. right? I put that daisy bead cap right on the top so it looked kind of like a crown. And then I threw another flower in the top to kind of hold it down, right? Let me bend this kind of at an angle to hold it all on. Well, let me just wire wrap it. What am I? Let me just finish it. So I'll bring it up and over, down and under. You kind of have to fuss with it to get it past all of that business there. All of the little roses and all the crowns and all of that. This is not the best wire wrap I've ever made, but go with me here. And I want this wire wrap to be fairly tight to the top of this rose so that I don't have a ton of movement with all this stuff below. Okay. So there's that. I'm going to come in and I'm going to clip away this extra, being really careful, trying to see it, being really careful not to clip, come on, not to clip that rose. There it goes. Hang on, I got to get it my focal length. I can't see anything here. There we go. All right. Oh, look at that. I love her. So she's done. Let me wire wrap this other one, okay? Yeah, it's hard to decide. Let me zoom in. Hang on. Where's my, there it is, my zoomer. There we go. Okay. Let me do, I know I like this one a lot. Let me put this one on. Let's see, this is 1, 2, 3. I just need a couple more. I'm just going to finish it. But you can, this is a good time for a screenshot. Questions, Gwenda? Do you have any? Does anyone out there in the, let's hear from the studio audience.
Well, I was just thinking that these will really make nice earrings that are kind of different, you know, kind of unique in a way. I think they're really beautiful. Yeah,
and I think that, and they're not heavy. That's the thing.
I was going to ask you that
too. Yeah. This, I made 6 roses. I wire wrapped 6 roses to go on the top, and it seems like those 6 roses make a nice crown. And you don't have to add this bead cap. I was just being a little extra. I don't know. I was looking at them and I'm like, I love these so much. And you can definitely mix your metals, right? So there's 4. Here's 5. I'm super close, super close.
I think that if you wire wrap some of these roses too and used them for charms, like on a bracelet, and maybe, you know, my favorite thing on a bracelet is I love leaves.
Yeah.
And so put some roses and leaves, and
they would be beautiful.
Make a bracelet.
Yeah.
And I love those aluminum roses. Just get to me.
I know they do to me too, don't they?
You know why? I think is that when I was
you were a girl.
When I was a girl, you really sound like Grant now. When I was a girl,
oh honey,
in the 50s,
when you was a girl,
we had those aluminum glass.
The aluminum cups. We still have the aluminum glass, the tumblers.
And these remind me of the colors of the aluminum
aluminum tumblers.
And I'm sure most of you people out there, most of you ladies and gentlemen out there, remember those aluminum glasses.
Yeah, do you remember those? And they do have that feel to them for sure. I love that. We have some in our cupboard right now. They might be Chris's grandma's rather than ours, because I might have gotten rid of ours.
Yeah, I think ours
were probably pretty much used. Out. Yeah, but we have those in our cabinet, as we speak. And they're fun. They're so light. And we could use exactly, Tina, I'm going to use some of these roses on the slow stitch, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. I'm going to show you the quilt and everything, but I want to bring this to a closure. Okay. Yeah, you can glue things into the eyes. You could glue crystals in there. If these roses, I had some skulls that were actually a little bit bigger, and I put the flowers in the eyes, which also looked kind of cool. They're a little bit big for these. So now here's this. Here's her crown. I'm going to put 6 of these on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then what I do is I kind of push them around so they form a circle. Is this 6? 1. Let me count. 1, 2, 3. Maybe that's only 5. I thought I had 6. No? Am I crazy? 1, 2, 3. I guess I have to make one more. Let me make a green one. That one just went right into where all the socks go after they go in the dryer. Let's put this on. Bend it. Because I think 6 makes I mean, you could do 5, but I think 6 makes the perfect. The roses are 6 millimeter, about, I think. About 6 mil. Between 5 and 6, I think. This is a really long wire wrap, so this rose is going to stick out a little bit, but that's okay. I'm kind of in a rush. You know what I didn't do, though, and I need to do it right now. Put the lid on your thread burner, my friends. Do as I say, not as I do. There we go. There's the green one. Now I'm going to put this little bead cap. And you could put a bead in the top, but I like how a rose looks. Like this. Oh, you know what? I think when I was cutting it, I think I cut one of those roses by accident. There we go. And so, you get this up there. Be very mindful and careful. Up and over. Down and under. And I'm going to have my tool help me a little bit here. Aid my hands. I don't want to be too slapdash on this wrap because this wrap is really going to show. Hope you can see that. I know it might be a little blurry. Apologies for that. Let me see if I can fix it. There we go. That's a little bit better. Let me grip with the gripping plier. There we go. There we are. All right. So now there's a little tip in there that I want to tighten down. Okay. So now we have one of the white, and you can see the size, one of the black. Okay. So let me focus. I'll zoom in, and it'll be a good screenshot time for you. Okay, does that look okay? Let me make it look a little bit better. There we are. Better. Okay. I'm going to take a bracing drink of coffee. Oy.
So, you know, I usually watch on my giant screen TV.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm watching on a phone where my screen is like
It's
1
super
inch
tiny.
by 2 inches.
Yeah.
weird.
I know. It's fun watching on the big TV, though, too.
Oh,
That's why I like doing it on the YouTube. Yeah, fun. So what I was thinking about this was, and let me zoom out a little bit. I love it. My Beaded Bliss says I'm at the grocery store watching and listening while I shop. I love it. Love. Let me zoom out just a bit on this. And don't forget, my friends, I'm going to put this back up. We are going to do our drawing. So don't forget to comment hashtag Frida for the journal drawing that's right here. I want to show you these, what I also had in my mind for these. These are the Sahara A-dot bead strands. And when we sell these age check strands to you, we usually put them in a baggie. But, pardon me, but what I thought would be fun is to just sell them by the strand. So they come in a 22-inch strand. Okay. And I thought that these, it would be the perfect base for a Frida-esque necklace, right? Isn't that kind of pretty? Isn't that pretty? Let me zoom out a little bit there so you can see it.
You know, I just don't like that leather thing.
This leather thing? Oh, I like the leather thing. You hate it?
I hate it.
Oh, well.
But that's just me.
That's just you. Oh, well. I'll find something else. Not at this very moment. So here are the other mixes and tubes and things that are in the Frida Fiesta drop today. I had them all out here, all ready to use.
What are you looking for?
They're right here. I just had to move. So here in these tubes, let me get back to the comments here. Let me highlight this. Let me take off this comment and let me solo that. Okay. So what I thought would be kind of cool would be to use a few strands like this as your base. Okay. Then this is the Java and African Padres mix right here. And I've got them all over here. I thought you could mix these. I'm just going to dump them out. These and the stripes together. Because if you think about the art of Frida, and a lot of people call her a surrealist painter. I guess that's true. I guess she is in the world of surrealism. But the colors, her colors and her color choices were sometimes, you know, they were original and interesting, right? So here's all of these right here. Okay. And here, so you could get a tube. This is one tube of each of these. You could mix them with this. We could get our sapphire blue ones, right? Get the Casa Azul in there. Look at how nice that looks. You could wire wrap a few more of these roses, and I might make 5 of these, maybe. I don't know, maybe. Then
5 of the drops.
5 of these drops
With the skulls.
with the skulls, yeah. Then I have some beads from Ghana. And you know how these were also kind of burning a hole in my bead pocket. So these are some hand wound. These are the hand wound beads from Ghana. This is the yellow multi. This is the blue. They're kind of like Ashanti saucers, but they're a little different. They're recycled glass. And I've had these for a while. Look at those.
Yeah, that's good. Add some texture.
Some texture, right?
Some size.
And look at this. Look at these are larger. See, these are a little smaller. And all you need are like one bag of each of these. But I think it's so like vibrant and interesting. And, you know, you decide how you want to do this. But I wanted to show you all of these beads. So, you know, and you can just put some of these plain ones in there as well. But I just love how these look as a dangle, right? And Janice, yeah, you can just make the skull drops as earrings and make the necklace as a necklace to wear with it. It would look great. It would look great. And this I would string maybe on wax linen, maybe on, I don't know, Ceylon, maybe. You could make it in the style. This is Janice's bee necklace. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, sorry. I rearranged. Sorry. Crash. Come on. There it is. I rearranged things a little bit and they're not quite as conducive as I was wanting them to be. This is that Story of Bees necklace that JP made. Let me put it here. Right? You remember this one, The Story of Bees? You could definitely do that kind of a piece with these here, right? Wouldn't that be pretty? Right? Mm-hmm. And these sides, see how Janice incorporated the fiber and stuff in there? I did this one in that same technique with the Ashanti saucers on the side. Right? So you could play around with all of this.
Show one of those necklaces again. I like the way there's multi-strands in the front and then it narrows down. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of sensitive to having a lot of beads around my neck.
Around your neck? Mm-hmm.
And so I really like that.
Let me make a little bit of space here. Let me put this in this tray. Bear with me here just a second. Put that over there. And you folks have seen these, right? These pieces. But here's the one that I did. And then Janice's Story of Bees, which I really love this one too. But those would be great with, you know, with these type of beads, this style. Okay. So I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to stretch. Let me put it back to this. We still have a little ways to go here. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break and we will do our drawing.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay. Sure. And then I wanted to show you folks, let me do this one while everyone, so let me put this back up. And if anyone has joined or come in or done a little bit late, we'll do this. We've got we've got the stitching kit to do, but I feel like the giveaway. I feel like it's time. A little bit of coffee. But let me show you. This was the reason why I've had Frida on my mind. Move this stool over. I've had Frida on my mind was because of this quilt that I did. And this is a panel. This is by a fabric artist named Alexander Henry. And unfortunately, Alexander Henry fabrics are no more.
Really?
Yeah. Can you believe it?
They always had such
interesting,
like the cowboys. The
cowboys. And stuff. Yeah, they had such great fabrics. So let me make sure I can see the comments. So this was a piece that I actually started a while back. I went to a bag making conference in Southern California. It was fun. But there was a quilt class there, and I've been quilting for a long time. I've been quilting for years and years and years and years. And I learned from my mom. My mom's the one who taught me. But I thought, you know what? It might be fun to kind of see this little kind of quilt thing or whatever. So I went, and unfortunately the quilter was, the teacher was definitely a bag maker and definitely not a quilter, but more power to her, right? So we made these quilt blocks, and usually when you quilt, you think a lot about contrast and value and pattern, and there's a lot you can think about, right? But if you look here, like in this section of the quilt, you can see that all of the fabrics that I chose, because I didn't know what we were making, all the fabrics that I chose were super busy, all kind of medium tones, the same tone. There's one light in it in here, which is this. So I came back, my mom went with me. I came back and the quilt blocks were sort of done. And what did you say?
I don't know. I had to put my hand over my mouth. I threw up a little bit in my mouth.
Yeah, because she's like, those are the most god-awful quilt blocks I've ever seen. But I had this panel. This is an Alexander Henry panel, and you can see it's Frida and the Katrina figure here. Emily gave me this, and it was great. And so I started, not unlike beading, I started kind of laying things out. And I felt like the colors in this panel, the colors of the quilt blocks, and then I went a little further out, and I'll bring this a little bit closer, with the borders. I did some embroidery for the blocks here. I still have to sew this binding down, right? You can see the back here, but it all kind of came together. So, and I don't usually do theme quilts. I do a lot of like scrappy quilts and stuff like that, but I was pretty pleased with this. So, I don't know. So I wanted to share it with you. I wanted to share the colors with you. I hope that they inspire you with that. But it was really fun to make. And our friend Tracy in our quilt guild did the long arm quilting on this. So I think this is a lesson in your beading journey or stitching journey or whatever kind of journey you're on. Sometimes you just have to push through it, right? Push through, and see how it comes out. And I'm pretty happy with this. And a big shout out, a big thank you to Emily for this really cool panel for the center. And then we just made it work. So
yeah, the blocks look great.
Yeah, they do. They look great.
I can't imagine any other blocks actually going with that.
They panel. Look great. I think it's really fun. And so the stitch in for, I thought about doing stitch in and stuff like this. So some of the kits that you have actually have some of this fabric in it. I had some left over. So you're going to get some snippets of that. I'll show you. I'll go through the kit. And I also put my denim jacket up here because I thought it would be fun like if you wear a denim jacket, or if you wear, like I'm wearing my Frida patch on here, I should put my Frida patch on my jacket. This is an old jacket, but I've got pins on it. I've got different pieces of like pins and jewelry and stuff that I've made. But it's kind of fun to make our own little embellishments. Now, if you've never sewn, more power to you, right? Because I want to show you today just a couple of little simple things. We're going to lay out one of these patches and I'm going to show you the basics. And then when you get it, I want you to play around. And Emily, 100% for sure, trust the process on this, because as my mom said, I mean, this was, and my friend Mary, she says it looked like the dog's breakfast, right? It was pretty bad. But sometimes you just have to lay it out, move things around, add things, take things away, because it is definitely a process. But I'm pretty happy with this. I don't know. I might hang it in here for a while. I don't know. But I like using my quilts. I don't love just hanging them on the wall and letting them be on the wall. So I might have to wrap up in my bed in this. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anywho, let's go ahead and let's do the giveaway, and then let's stitch. So if you haven't commented, hashtag Frida, and I'm going to draw. And when I draw, if you're the winner, I need you to comment so I know that you're here. Let me get the journal. Where did it go? And then on Monday, we'll send it out. And you can email us to confirm your address and everything when after you're the winner. Here we go. So here's that journal. And we want to make sure for Donna, we want to spell it Frida, Frida, without the E in. And how many, let me add the giveaway tool here. Bear with me here just a second. I'm going to share my screen. I don't know what my, do you need to plug in your phone?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Just plug it in. See the front right there? Move the tape thing. Yeah, it's right there. Hang on. Giveaway tool. There it is. Okay. We have 158 entries. That's awesome.
Right.
All right. Are we ready? Let's go. Here we go. It's kind of fun seeing everybody's names go by. Holly Gustafson, you, my friend, are the winner. Holly, I hope you're watching. Give me a comment, my friend, so we can make sure that you're claiming. And then if you like these, my mom said she would make a few more, and we can toss them up on beadshop.com. I don't know when that's going to happen, but you never know. So Holly, if you're there and you're watching, I'm watching for a comment from you. And yep, there she is. Hooray! I see you, my friend. Whoops. There you go. The comments are coming in fast. Great. Wonderful. I'm going to screenshot this. So I've got it. So congrats, my friends. And I'll check and see if you have an order. We can put it in that. But I'm going to put it right over here by Miranda's desk. So congratulations. It's great. And thanks, Ma, for making it.
No problem.
So let's do that. I'm going to put that right there. Okay. So let's get to, let me get this off. Wasn't that fun? I don't know. So we're going to kind of shift gears. We're going to do some stitching. So if that's something that appeals, please stick around. I want to show the stitching kit. I want to show you how I put this together. But I've got to go from beading mode into sewing mode. And just for your notes, the stitching part of this starts at 1 hour, 34 minutes. We get to stitching. Okay. I'm going to move my stuff around here. There we go. Now, all of these slow stitch kits are going to be a little different. They have some things that are going to be the same and some things that are going to be different. And I'm going to lay one out here, but I'm just moving stuff. Maybe I'll use some of these beads. Let me grab these.
While you're starting, are you going to show them your sewing kits?
Oh, I guess I could. I just grabbed it because...
Yes. So I just want to say that Kate is, she's a very busy lady, but she had a...
here, it's right here. It's hard to see.
A workshop at our quilting group. And and she did charge kit fees, but that's all. And then she donated all the kit fees to my church. So
yeah, to the church, to your Christmas fund. It was really fun.
Yes, so
we had fun. See, it's right here. I made this
Memorial Methodist Church really appreciates all the things that Kate does for them.
Oh, it was fun. We had a good time. This was it's called Everything But the Machine tote. And when I go to my quilting, you can see it has little drawers and stuff. So that was really fun to make. And I am actually going to, I'm teaching a bag making class for my Fiber Guild here in Fresno. So I think there are a couple of spaces left. So if you are local to Fresno, and you want to take a bag class from me, you can check out the Fresno Fiber Arts Guild website. It's coming up in February. Tina Lutz, you are looking at for this bead here. It's in beadshopStudio, and it is called the Frida Fiesta blue lined or crystal blue lined 6/0, I think. And Janice can drop the link one more time, but it's there. It's in beadshopStudio. We won't get this color again. That's it.
You're gorgeous.
Yeah, they really are gorgeous. Yeah, steal a tube. Do it. The plastic drawers, Mary, these are by STARLIGHT, I think. We could always put a link. I can drop a link to them. I think they're on Amazon. I can drop a link to them in our Amazon store. But this specific pattern, everything but the machine tote, and it fits these drawers exactly. So what we're going to need is we're going to need some scissors. I'm going to get my sewing scissors out. I'm going to get my, I've got some pins. I need a couple of sewing pins. I already took my pin cushion out because I was using it earlier. Let me do that. You can also use clips as well. Here are some sewing clips. That's probably all. I've got some sewing thread, but I'm going to actually use my beading thread for this. And that looks like it. Okay. So let's put this down. Yeah, I'll link all of this. I'll link it in the in our Amazon storefront after the show. Okay.
And you did the embroidery.
I did.
On your machine.
I did that machine embroidery. It was fun. Okay. Let me add my other camera. Oh, it's nice sitting down. Look at the mess that's behind me though. Ugh. Let me get this. Okay. So in these kits, what I did, and they're going to have some different colors, but one of the things, let's talk about making a slow stitch patch to start off with. What you need, and what I did was, you need something like a backing. So this, I think this piece is like a 5x6 piece. This is like duck canvas. Okay. So that's this piece here. And you need something that's kind of an interior to sandwich to make things a little stiff. So I have a bunch of really cool felt in really nice colors. I think this is about a 3mm felt. So I've got that, and I can put it in between. I could put it wherever, right? But I'm gonna put that kind of on top of that like that. All right. Now I found that I've had this fabric in my stash forever, and I had enough. My dear friend Laura was here yesterday, and she was here and she fussy cut out all of these little Frida pieces. And this was a piece of fabric. I've had it in my stash forever, and I had enough for 50 kits. Okay, so it's a great fabric. I don't think it's a Robert Kaufman. I'd have to look on the selvage, but this is probably fabric that's 5 or 6 years old from my stash. Okay. Then I got out some of the fabrics that were left over from my quilt. These eyes, which I love, which we can kind of cut out and use. This really cool. You get a piece of, and everything's going to be a little bit different. Okay. But this one has a piece of the purple. This one has a piece of that starburst. And then my buddy Tina Vianney, who's watching, I had to share these. She sent me a little goodie box from France from when she went to the Grenvigniers. And these precious little appliques, these are vintage, probably from about the 50s. So you're going to have a couple of those. I've saved some for me, and I'm sharing them with you in this kit. Oh, and my dear friend Laura is watching. Laura, I could not have done this, though, without you yesterday. So thank you, my dear friend. They're perfectly cut.
It is from Robert Kaufman.
Robert Kaufman. This one is Robert Kaufman. I've also given you, when I went to France, I found some of this old vintage lace in Revel, at the Revel market when I was teaching. And it's dyed with woad. And woad is similar to indigo. It's blue, but it's kind of the French version of indigo, woad. And my students this year who are joining me at my stitching retreat in France, we're going to do a day of woad dyeing. So you're going to learn how to create this beautiful blue dyeing with woad in the heart of woad dyeing country. It's going to be awesome. So you get a little snippet of the woad lace. You also get a few snippets of vintage trims that I found at this atelier. We're going to visit that atelier. But some of these really gorgeous vintage trims. Some more lace. There's all kinds of, I'm going to give you so much. Oh, that's what dropped. I think a piece of lace dropped. There's a bit more lace that's going to go in here. You're going to get your mix exclusive, your kit exclusive mix. And you're going to get some beads and buttons. Okay. So that's this one. I pulled another one so you could see some of the other colors that it might come in. I'm going to put them in. Oh, and you also get, where did they go? I'm going to grab them. I think they're probably still sitting over here. Hold, please. They might be in this one.
The beads. Oh,
not the beads, the butterflies that Laura cut.
Is there something over there on the floor?
Probably. No, I'm going to go grab it. Hold on. Hold, please, because I love them. I love them so much. You're also going to get... Keep looking at how pretty that is. I also had this other fabric that I loved so much, and I couldn't cut into it because I didn't want to use it because it was so pretty. right?
Oh, I see. It's in the other kit.
It's in the other kit, but somehow it didn't make it into this one, but it will when I put them together. It's these butterflies on linen. Laura fussy cut these too for you. There we go. And aren't those darling? I love, 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 love these butterflies. So this one, very similar. This one, the interior is pink, but the felt is going to be on the interior, or you can use it for the exterior. It doesn't really matter. But here are some of the other bits and pieces. Whoops, I didn't mean to cover Frida's face. Right? Oh, thank you, JP. And the bag class I'm actually giving in February. I hope it's not wrong on the Fiber Guild website. Everybody's going to get these eyeballs because I have enough. Here's the other lace that was dyed with woad. It's a little lighter. Isn't that pretty? Some more of these flowers. Some more trims. And some more random buttons and beads, all vintage. Okay. So these are what the kits are going to be comprised of. So let's take a look. I think I'm going to use, maybe I'll use that one. Let's take a look. Oh, and you're going to get a pin back too in here. And I pulled them. I don't quite know what happened to them, but anyway. You could also grab a few of the, like the aluminum roses or things like that. There we go. Thanks, JP. Great, it's there. Good. Yeah, it'll be fun. The Fresno Fiber Arts Guild has, if you're local, we have just really great classes, really great speakers. It's been a real creative godsend for me. And the friends that I have made there, I don't know what I'd do without them. So let's start making sense of something like this, right? So you can use, I grabbed my, my little, you've seen me use this before. Oh, here's the pin backs right here. My grid and cutter here. Now, when these get to you, they're going to be cut fairly straight. Laura did a perfect job on the Frida patch, the Frida piece. And this measures, it's about 4 by 4-ish, maybe a little more, a little less. You could like cut this out a little bit more if you like, but I like how this square looks. All right. So what I'm going to do first is, and I have a little box here that I'm going to put all of these things in to corral everything. Now I will bet, oh, and some of these buttons, look, I got some vintage. Look at those little nugs, right? Some vintage buttons, whatever you like. But I'm going to start with this piece of canvas because we always need a blank canvas. Now this is about 5 by 6 or so. Okay. Now you could press this. And as Laura said to me yesterday, she goes, should I press these? And I'm like, no, we're not going to press them. You can press them if you want at home. The thing that I like about this canvas, this is kind of duck canvas that I've got here, is you can fringe it. See how I'm pulling the plies away and it's nice and heavy. But see how you can fringe that? I'm a big fan of using the raw edge of fabric like that. Look at how cool that looks. My mom's going to impart some wisdom. I can tell. I can feel it.
I was going to say, you can also, those threads that you're pulling out,
Oh, yeah.
you can save them.
Yeah.
And they are kind of like a nice little, you know, what
for embellishing or something.
They have this thing called junk journals.
Right.
Which this is so perfect, this kit, to go.
Yeah, because you don't have to make this into a pen or anything. You could.
It would look great.
It would look great.
Making a tote bag.
Yeah.
Or something. There's so many things you can do with it.
You can use with it. Exactly.
But those threads,
you know, just right. And they're nice and heavy. This canvas duck, I just love it. Right? Like this. And it's kind of like upholstery weight canvas. So see, just pull it out and see what happens. Okay. I don't want those to go too far. You're right, Ma. I'm going to put them. So when my mom and I, sometimes we go on these quilt retreats, right? We have a good time. There are some ladies, like sometimes I just can't take it and I have to throw scraps away because I'm like, if my space is too messy or I've got too much crap laying around or whatever, right? I have to clear it. But there are some ladies who save, and if you're one of those ladies, more power to you, sister, or one of those quilt dudes who loves, you know, who saves every scrap for quilting, more power to you. Sometimes I just have to purge, but it's good pickings for the ladies and gentlemen who like those scrap quilts, right? So now I'm thinking about, I just purged a bunch of scraps. I should have saved it. But I didn't. I put them on buy nothing. I gave them away.
Well, I mean, if you have little tiny pieces, you can, make collages or something.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Netting over it and sew it down.
Yeah, there's so much that you could do.
I had garbage bags full of that stuff. And I
finally
and said, it needs to go where it's meant to go.
So I'm going to give myself a straight across cut here just for fun. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Maybe because I just want to use my rotary cutter. But I'm going to do that. You could also cut it with scissors. If you don't have a rotary cutter, and always close it. Never put it down like this. Right? Tina, we could frame it. This would look lovely in a frame for sure. I'm going to put this on top. So see, look at how great that background looks already just by having this fringe. I'm going to fringe this as well. Now, you could hem it. I'm going to fringe it just a little, Ma. Just calm down.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of fringing. It doesn't have to be a lot. But I don't want like raggedy daggedy edges like this. So just a little. But you could hem it.
No, I would never.
And what you could also do if you sew and you have your sewing machine, or we could do this here, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim. There's a little long piece here. A little long piece here. You could do a little stitch all the way around here, that edge, right? But I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to kind of spread it out a bit. Now, this is where you need to make a decision. I've given you a piece of like this 3mm felt that's kind of thickened. You can, if you want, put this on the back and put this on the back now and stitch through it if you want. You could cut it smaller and put it in between this piece and that piece, or you could save it till the very end and attach it with stitching or with some glue. I've got some tacky glue here, whatever, or you could stitch it in the corners to cover all of the stitching on the back, and then you could stitch your pin back on there. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this as kind of like, you know how when you have a picture in the frame and they've got, you know, the back part of the frame, that's what this is going to be. And then you could stitch like a little something on there. You could even put one of these little flowers here on the back to make it pretty, whatever. But this is going to be my backing. But I'm going to put this to the side. I'm not going to worry about it right now. You could also, instead of this, if you've got some of the ultra suede that we carry, you could also back it with some of this ultra suede. But the ultra suede doesn't come in the kit. Okay. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to the best of my ability, center this so I look at it, so it looks good. And everyone's Frida patch and backing fabric are going to be the same. Okay. That's one of the constants in here. I guess you folks like stitching because there's still 200 of you watching. Thank you so much. I'm going to use my sewing pins, and I'll link these in our Amazon store too. These are a pin that I love using that are easy for my hands to grip. So see, I'm just going to pin her in place like this. It's a good question, Karen. Are you going to add like fray away or fray check afterwards to control the fraying? I'm not going to. Number one, this canvas, this duck canvas, is so heavy that I don't think I need to really worry about it unraveling. This, I could put a little line of fray check or something on there, but I'm not gonna worry about it. You could though, if you wanted, but I'm not going to. Okay. All right. What are you thinking, Gwenda?
Well, hold it up. It looks a little off-center to me.
Does it?
And it may be the camera angle, so hold it up and let me see.
Well, one way to do that is if I turn it this way and I can kind of see. I think it looks all right.
No, it needs to be moved over.
No, well, I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe a little. But I'm going to put other stuff and stuff on here.
Okay, then yeah.
So, don't, let's, all right, okay. I'm going to fix it. But what I don't want you folks to do is get too precious about this. Because if I wanted to do it this way, I would do it that way.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
You know this, Gwenda.
Yes.
You know better than that. All right, so now I've got to repin because I unpinned. Yeah, it's our Amazon storefront. And I'll link it in the comments below. Okay? I'll link it all in the comments below. And I'll put all of this stuff. I'll put these pins that are my favorite. And I'll do some linking down there. Okay, so after the show, we're watching this live. It is Saturday, January 25th for our Fiesta sew-in. After I'm done, I'll go ahead and I will drop the link. I'll make a collection in our Amazon storefront. Okay, so here we go. All right, so now we need to talk about thread. Now, I grabbed this. It's kind of heavy, but I kind of like it. This is the micro Ceylon. And where did my sharps go? Here they are. These sharps kind of have a small eye, so you could use like a regular sewing needle or something, but I'm going to use this sharps because that's what I have sitting here. And it's sharp. Now, the micro Ceylon, I grabbed this because it's an olive. You can grab any color. I might want something more vibrant, but it's what's sitting here, so that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to needle this thread. We're going to get it through with the micro seal-on, like so. And I'm going to double this over. Now you could use anything. You could use pearl cotton, you could use whatever, thread, embroidery floss, sewing thread. The seal-on is really nice though. It gives it a nice weight. So see, I'm going to tie that knot. I'm doubling this over. Tighten it up, and I'm going to cut that tail away. Okay. So now, let's just stitch. I think the stitch that I want, I'm going to start with a running stitch inside this. Okay. I'm going to move that pin over just a little bit so I've got room. I'm right-handed, so I hold my needle with my right hand. I'm going to come in the back, from the back, and I'm going to come through, needle up through the corner, right? Whatever works. And I'm not measuring. I'm not drawing lines. I don't want you to worry about this being too perfect. Now see how I'm just putting my needle, running along in and out here. And once I've got a few stitches, I'm going to come in and I'm going to pull that needle through.
Kind of making this like calm.
Yeah, it's calm. Yeah.
Broadcast.
My hands don't want to grab that needle. I don't know why. That's why I've got my plier right here. There we go. So see that? And you can flatten it out. Right? There it is. Look. There's a running stitch. Look at you. Look at you go. Let me move this. And I'm not worrying about the length of my stitches either. Just in, out, in. If you have a thimble, you might want to use it. Do you get days where your hands don't grab that needle? That's a little concerning. My hands are all, that sewing needle is too skinny. Now, you don't want to go too, see, like, look, I've got this nest. Don't worry if you have a nest or if things start to knot up. Don't pull it too tight. If you get a knot, just get an awl or get another needle or get something, and you just kind of pull that stitch back. There's something going on back here that grabbed it. There we go. Undo it, straighten it out, and pull it forward. Ain't no thing. Now, you could also do this with a single strand, right? I'm doing this double because I wanted some really like heavy thread there, but maybe a single strand might have been better. I don't know, but I'm not going to look back. Let's only go forward. Okay. So here we go. Here's this, and then stop. I'll stop about right there. Okay. So now we're going to turn the corner. And since I'm using 2 threads, I want to make sure that I'm pulling them equally. Okay. So now let's needle up somewhere around here. Okay. Stitch it through. And you don't have to do a running stitch like I was doing. You can do kind of this stab and go kind of a thing, right? You stab it up, needle up, put the needle back through, pull it back, up, up, she said, and back down. Okay, so you can continue this if you want all the way around. This thread does kind of match Frida's beads. I like that. I guess maybe that's what I was thinking. let me just complete this side, and then we'll do some arranging, because I might put something over here. I don't know. Okay, so just pull that through. If it wants to get stuck on your pin, take your pin out. And there we go.
And if you're a thread waxer, waxing your sewing thread,
yeah,
not a bad idea.
Yeah, you could definitely wax your sewing thread if you felt like that. You know, like in the costume shop when we were, especially when we were sewing buttons, do a lot of waxing of that thread to keep these two strands together as one, right? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to keep it here for the moment. Okay. So now let's get out some pieces. We could also do some gluing. Not everything has to be stitched. Oh, I know. Oh, horror. Right? Would we glue? And you could always cut this down. I think I'm going to cut this down. I think I'm going to cut this in half. Right there. I kind of like it over here. Okay. Let me get, here's another strip of this. Let me cut, I mean, I could use my ruler and stuff here. I'm just going to fearlessly cut that there. I'm going to cut this kind of raggedy end down just a little bit. And since my mom was saying, let's keep these threads, sometimes I think when you have fewer materials to work with, the fewer things you have, the more inventive you are with the things around you, right? Let's wrap that. And let's tie a knot. Again, this might look like the dog's breakfast, or it might be my biggest triumph. Who knows? Let's tie a knot there. Now these I think are a little long, so I'm going to trim that down. I'm going to trim that down. I'm also going to link these scissors. These are Tim Holtz scissors, which I love. There we go. If you want something that's dimensional, right? You've got some little lace appliques. We've got this butterfly piece up there. I love this. Remember when we got this? This is from Cynthia. Remember when she was getting rid of, we had a friend who was getting rid of some pieces, and I never wanted to use this butterfly fabric instead, so I thought I'd share it with you. It's better to share it. Look at this. Let me do this. Let me get rid of this. Let me put that on the corner. I don't want to cover too much of her stuff right there. I don't know. I'm going to have to play around with that piece. Maybe I'll put this on the back. Or maybe just like that. Maybe that's okay. That's all right. Right? Right? That's looking up. Yeah, that's not bad. What are you gonna say? My mom is throwing something out there.
I think that I might slip that yellow flower under, instead of being on top of the Frida thing, might slip it underneath.
Underneath?
Yeah. Yeah. No, the one on the bottom corner. That one, yeah. And then you're going to put something else on top of it. Yeah, I guess yeah.
See, I was going to use both of these.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Right? There's this vintage button that I'm throwing in. Right? And these with the eyes. I'm going to fussy cut this. You'll get a little piece where you can kind of cut these eyes out. Now you can use fray check along the edge of these. There's no problem. If you don't want them to fray. You can also paint them with a little bit of white glue if you want.
I think you can use this stuff too.
You could use diamond glaze. Sure, of course you could use diamond glaze to stiffen it. Where's my diamond glaze? I'm going to do that here real quick. Let's experiment. I've got this. I need a piece. I'm going to use this eyeball right here. Yes, this does look like a marigold, doesn't it, Jan? This is some vintage trim that I got. Both Tinas are watching, who went to France with me last time at that wonderful atelier we went to. We're going to take a trip there this time as well while we're in France for vintage trims and fabrics and stuff. I still have a few of that stuff left. Oh yeah, and pinking shears. I was going to grab my pinking shears, Karen K, and I didn't. Pinking shears would be perfect for this. And this, you could do pinking shears along the side. This would look great. You know, Naomi, I have a lot of favorite scissors, and I'll put the link down below when we're done. These are the Tim Holtz. These are more what I use as like craft scissors, but they're super, super sharp. I use Kai scissors, Kai is the brand name. My mom bought them for me. I love them. We're going to use a little bit. I need to open this up. I really like them a lot. And they're already linked on our Amazon storefront. So I will, I think this one's open. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. But we'll drop that link down below. So I'm going to add some of that diamond glaze to the back of this. Okay. Oh, JP, I've got it here. Hang on. I've got the link. It's right here. Can you see it all? And I'm just going to set this here. This is going to stiffen this up a bit, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to peel this off later. Okay, so we're just going to let that sit. I need to wipe now the diamond glaze off my hands. Hang on. Betsy, I am so happy that you're doing this. Betsy is saying that this is inspiring. I'm not a sewer, but I took the plunge and added it to my cart full of all those gorgeous beads from the studio. That makes me so happy because you know what? You don't have to be a sewer. You really don't. Maybe a little, look at right there. Let's do that. And if you're not a sewer, you could glue. Don't you think, Ma? You can just glue all this stuff down.
Definitely.
Right?
I was going to say that. If you're not a sewer, you
Right?
can be a gluer.
Yeah, be a gluer. That piece. Look at that little piece of vintage trim.
So much of it.
No, you're right. I would stitch some of it, but you could definitely just glue and then stitch.
I mean, this is a collage.
It is a collage, is what it is.
And so, yeah. But there are even some of the paper craft people, when they're making a journal, they'll zigzag around a piece of paper. They'll do a little sewing on their journal. But I'm big for gluing too.
But one of the things that you could do here, let me just, and I'm going to fringe this a little bit because I love how the fringe looks. One of the things that you could do here, and this is actually what I might do, because I like this stitching, this big stitching that I did.
Mm-hmm.
I might like pin all of this in place, and then I might take this to my sewing machine and give it just a little stitchy stitch. Right? Then I could come in and do some more slow stitching over the top and some beading. Right? That would look good. But if you don't have a sewing machine, it doesn't matter. All of this could just be glued.
So I took a class one time. I'm going to interrupt here. I took a class one time, and what we did, we picked a picture like out of a magazine, and then we went and we had all these fabric scraps, ribbon scraps, all these scraps, and we recreated it, but just as a total abstract. So, like, I don't know, maybe I had a vase of flowers sitting on a table, or maybe there was a river with a bridge over it. I can't remember what. Anyway, we glued all these fabric things down and then did the stitchy stitch over it.
Over the top. Yeah. Oh, fun.
And it was the most beautiful abstract thing, that just the way the colors were the way nature places colors. And it was like placing these colors on a piece of, the fabric, the base that we used was totally covered with. Was
totally covered. Yeah.
Anyway, that was.
I think that's awesome.
That was just an aside.
And see here how, I'm super tempted about my sewing machine, but I keep hitting this thing. But let me show you the stitches that I'm taking here. Let me show you this. So see here, right where this lace is. Let me get a little tighter. Okay. Oh, Deborah, this is the best Saturday ever. Thank you for that. Thank you. Let me get in a little tighter here. There we go. All right. So here, see how where the lace is kind of open? I'm going to needle up and then needle down like that. And you know what I'm going to do? Because this double strand is kind of wearing me out. It's wearing my hands out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you what I'm going to do.
You're going to make it into a single
strand. I am. Yes. I am. So I'm going to knot it on the back here. You don't even really have to knot it, but I'm gonna.
So Karen said that she's really excited to use the embroidered 64 embroidery stitches on her sewing machine. That is a great, great, great idea. I love using those leaf things, and I think on my sewing machine there's a little elephant one and just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I love. Sometimes I just start stitching those out just for
the heck of it, just to see how they look.
Yeah.
So see, my friends, how I went that from a double thread to a single. I tied a knot. I pulled my needle. I pulled my thread back through. And now I am, there we go. That's much easier on my hands. Now it's a single thread. Oh, M is saying, hi, M. M just happened on this live, and she's from New Zealand, and she's enjoying it as you do quite a bit of paper collage. Well, welcome. It is wonderful to have you here across the miles. I'm going to straighten this out. Let me put a pin. I'm going to put a pin over here, so maybe I can stitch it a little straight-ish. Right? And I love it, Ma. People are doing some quilting. Barbara's been working on a quilt while listening. I love it. This makes me so happy. That's what we need these days, right? We just find little glimmers of happy.
Well, I was going to mention about having a journal. I'm not a journal person, actually. But, if you have a little notebook or a journal or whatever, or just think about it. But it helps to write it down. It's something good that happened to you today.
Yeah.
Each day, you don't need to, even if you have a horrible day.
Yeah, don't belabor it.
Even if you've had a horrible, horrible day, there has to have been something.
One thing, happened. Yeah. And I know a lot of people do that. My buddy Jessica, Jess Imports Jess, she says, she does what she calls morning pages, right? And so she kind of just does kind of a writing thing. Where I keep all of my notes is I keep them all in my phone. I use the notes feature in my phone.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of talking to text lately. And what's so amazing about the iPhone and the notes feature is then you can send them, you can send it anywhere, do anything with it. It's really super helpful. Okay, so see, I just stitched that across, right? Oh, and our friend Pam. So Pam Chavez is also, and CR is on here too. Some of my Fiber Guild people are here. I love it so much that my dear friends are here. Pam is also an extremely gifted paper artist. And Pam, you're going to be teaching some classes. You're going to teach a class at the Fiber Arts Guild next year. And I am not kidding, my friends. If you join us here in Fresno, look up the Fresno Fiber Arts Guild website. It has been going on since, well, I don't know, Fiber ladies chime in. I think it's been a going concern since the 70s at least. And it's a really interesting, vibrant group. There are quilters and knitters and weavers and paper artists. It's a really great group of creatives. And I urge you, look around in your town. That's what I did when I moved to Fresno. I was worried that I wouldn't, because I was leaving my Bay Area friends of like forever and ever. And I was worried that I wasn't going to find a creative enclave of people who like to make things. And so I looked around. I looked on Facebook. I Googled creativity or, quilt guilds or whatever, in the Central Valley. And that's how I stumbled on the Fiber Arts Guild. So, just go for it. Oh, and Deborah's made one quilt so far. And I would love if you posted it on the bead table, my friend. We'd love it. Please do. And I love that you designed it. You should be proud of it. You should be. So see here, I've just stitched that on. Now here, with all of this stuff, I could use the button here as an anchor for all of this, right? Oh, and Ellen, that is a really great idea. I love this idea. Ellen says you could use the marigold patch as a flip and sew something underneath that's a surprise.
Yes, that's good.
I love that idea. So let's get maybe one of these. Oh, no. Nope. Negative. Where did it go?
That little lace thing.
No. I want to put that underneath it.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
That diamond glaze still needs to dry a little bit, but I just peeled it off and stuck it down. I'm going to pin it in place. Now, do be careful with glues, because most glues dry clear, but sometimes there's a little bit of staining from the glue. This needs to dry a bit more. So, but I can also, so on here, let me get my, I think I've got some here. And I know I had some things. That piece with the fire line, or do I have a piece over here? Here's a piece of yellow Kahlo that's just happening to hang out. Look, we could also put, like, you know, just one rose right in the center. Or we could, you know, add them around, but I like how that looks embellished on her necklace. We could do that. We could do that, right? But one other thing I want to show you, and then I'm going to let you folks kind of play around. I've been on here since 10:30. It's been going kind of long.
Yeah,
so
my husband's going to sing after you.
Oh, Stan's probably watching sports. Okay, so I'm just going to tie a little knot here once, twice, 3 times. Now with skinny thread, what I do, I'll tighten this up. There's my knot. I will clip this close to the knot. And then, let me, then what I'm going to do, get my KO. So I'm going to stitch in, like I'm going to go to this marigold right here, okay? And I'm going to make a stitch so I secure that knot down, okay? Okay. Now I can get some of my little seed beads here. And I'm going to do a little grouping of like 3. And I'm going to stitch them across so they're kind of dimensional like that. Can you see that? Then this is kind of like couching. I'm going to come up in the center where all of those 3 beads are. And I'm going to sew down over the thread that's in between these 2 beads so it tightens it down. See, like that? And that kind of makes everything kind of secure. I'm going to do the other one right here.
Looks good.
I'm going to come up. So instead of having to go back and forth in between you know, try to catch those little holes in the beads again, I'm just couching. So here's the bead, the thread in between these 2 beads. I'm just going to stitch next to it. And the couching, the little arc of thread there, is holding that on. You guys, I am actually literally tearing up because I'm so excited that you're going to try this. You know, you don't need to be a stitcher. You don't need to be a sewer. You don't need to have sewn. You know how people say, like I say, oh, I've sewn my whole life. You know, that doesn't matter. Just get a needle, get a thread, get some fabric, and literally take a stab at it. I'm going to put 3 more on here. See? So it's giving me a little, see how that's kind of dimensional now? See that? So I'm going to come back up from the back and I'm going to couch over that little 3 group. See these 2? I can see the thread there. It's hard to see, but I'm just going to couch that down. Okay. Now I can go to maybe this one down here, right? So what am I going to do? Am I going to knot this off? I can. Let me show you how I do it. Okay. I'm going to slide my thread, my needle under a few of these threads right here. Okay. I'm going to stitch so I've got a little bit of a loop there. And I'm going to go through that loop once, twice, and a 3rd time. Okay? And I'm going to tighten it down. That's it. That's all you need to do. Okay?
So it's knotted.
It's knotted. Right? So I'm going to clip that away. I'm going to clip this little extra bit of thread away. Now I'll do the same thing. And I can come in and I can do another, but see how dimensional? Can you see that? How dimensional that is? This is not, and it's not going anywhere. That little bit of couching has kind of smushed it. It's not really the best term, but it's kind of pushed it down. So you can continue on with this. And then on the back, all you're going to do, here's our back. And if I had one of my tags, one of my Kate Richburg tags, I'd put a tag on the back or whatever, or maybe I'd sign it, you know, or something, or put the date on it. Do I have a pen that would work? I don't know. How does this pen work? Let me do it on this side. I don't know. What's today? The 25th? 1, 25. This isn't the best pen. What I need is a micron pen. Here's a super skinny one.
Oh, that shows up.
Yeah, that's still a little too skinny. Oh, no, that's blue. I usually have a micron. Micron are those ones that you draw. Here we go. That's a good one. The felt's a little crunchy, but I don't mind. There we go. Okay. And I can put something on the back if I wanted to as well, maybe, whatever, right? And a couple of little things. Then what I would do is I will get my pin back. And I know that my pin back, I need to make sure this is going the right way. Right? That's right. Right. And I can come in and I can push it through from the back end and have it, you know, go like that. Or what I can do is I can stitch this on before I glue it down. And I think I would glue it. I don't know. What do you think, Gwenda? What would you do? Would you glue it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd glue it. Or, you know, like fabric tack or something. Maybe.
Yeah, fabric tack would work, or
would
Aleene's.
work?
I don't know that I would adhere these two with diamond glaze.
Okay.
I would use white glue or Aleene's tacky glue.
Right. So, or even, you know what, hot glue might work.
Yeah.
No?
E6000 would also work.
Okay.
I don't know.
I might make it too stiff. Though.
Yeah. And, you know, I'll be honest. I use hot glue less and less.
Well, you know, I always did, but now I'm using it a little bit for paper.
Yeah.
And
well,
like I did use some for the journal, like
mm-hmm.
for the flowers
mm-hmm.
and a few of the things. I don't use hot glue very often.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm making a paper flower or something,
mm-hmm.
then I might use hot glue. But what I was going to say is I just wanted to reiterate. Now you're showing people how to do the back,
mm-hmm.
but you're not through with the front.
I am not through with the front.
So you're not going to put the back on till you're completely
until I'm completely finished. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 I don't know how stable the hot glue would be.
Yeah, I wouldn't use hot
on
glue,
this, but tacky glue. And we're also I'm testing. They sent us some glues. One of our suppliers sent us some really good fabric glue that I'll test out on this, because it would be nice to have a glue, you know, for you all to just pop right in your carts. But I need to do a little testing. So see, I'm just stitching this on. You could glue it though. Okay. Mary's asking about...
Oh, I wouldn't, excuse me. I would not, the pin back, I would not glue on.
No, I would stitch it. Yeah.
I would definitely.
I would stitch it.
Yeah.
So the, you know, hot glue is like it's a plastic that you put in the glue gun and it melts, and the melted plastic adheres the two pieces together. This is super crooked. You're going to pretend it's not. And I think, you know, like in the costuming field, we used a lot of hot glue. My needle fell off, so it's time to be done.
You don't have to wait for it to dry. It
dries right. Really it dries really fast and all of that. So, yeah, so it has its advantages. It's quick, it's easy. It burns the heck out of your fingers. So what you can also do if you don't want to see that pin back there, one of the things that I do is I'll come in. It needs to be a skinny piece of fabric. But you could always glue this down over this stitching, so you don't see that pin back. Right? I love this idea. Jan is saying she's going to make this in the front of a shirt as a pocket for tickets, cash cards, etc. This would make a great pocket. So let's take a look at how this might look on this jacket. I mean, there's still a lot of sewing I need to do on this. But that's why I brought my this, right? So here, I want to pin this on there though.
It'd look good on a sweatshirt too.
It would. Or just as a thing. I need one more pin. Here, hang on.
Add one on the front.
Yeah, I'll do this right here. There we go. All right. So there's the jacket. And see, here's like the pocket. We could just pin that. The pin isn't completely stitched on, but you get the idea, right? Look at how great that looks just right there. I think it looks good. And it goes with my other, I made this Frida patch pin a while back. But I want to see some more of the roses. I want to see some things there. So, my friends, I think that concludes our Saturday Frida Fiesta. I need to go have some lunch too, for sure. I'm glad you folks loved it. Maybe I'll do some, I have some of my textiles, my treasures from France. Also be fun to do some patches with. If you love this and if you had a good time, check out my France retreat. I just have a couple of spots left. It's in June. Very, very end of June. You can go to Soul Stir Retreats. It's also on the homepage of my own personal YouTube channel at katerichberg.com. Janice and I are also going to come out with the dates. Not the dates, because we've got the dates. But the deets, the details of our bead shop retreat that's coming up in August. So that's my story. Okay, I'm sticking to it.
Let me give a wave.
Oh, yeah. Here comes my mom. Here.
Let me.
Okay. Do your thing. Here she comes.
I'll come.
She's coming over. But it was fun, right? We had a good time. And I really, congratulations to you, Holly, for winning. Here comes my mom. Here she comes. Here she is. Let's say hello.
There I am.
There we are. Here. There we are.
Hi, everybody.
Look whose doppelganger I am. Right? Right? Well, Ma, thanks so much for kisses. Kisses.
Yes, that was nice getting together with everybody.
Yeah, it was great to see all you all.
Have a wonderful week. And
yeah, we'll see you soon. You'll see my mom online, and I'll see you on Wednesday for our regular broadcast. Don't forget, my friends, too, you can find us all over our socials. I'll go over here. Facebook, Insta, Pinterest. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this crazy epic Saturday broadcast. And you can shop all things for the Frida Fiesta drop in the Bead Shop Studio section on our Bead Shop website. And we really super appreciate all of your support, because without you guys out here, we would not be able to do what we do, which is spread the love of creativity through the magic of beads. And today with stitching. So thanks so much, all. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.